Everyone, and welcome back. We're going to be diving into some pretty cool AI research today.
Yeah.
Specifically, this new model called DeepSeek R1. And, it's really making waves because of how it was trained to reason.
Yeah, definitely.
And we've got the paper right here,
Yeah.
DeepSeek R1, incentivizing reasoning capability in LLMs via reinforcement learning by the team at DeepSeek AI.
Yeah, some really interesting stuff.
And what really kind of caught our eye was this version called DeepSeek R1-0 that actually taught itself how to reason.
Right, like with no hand-holding.
No human hand-holding.
No humans involved.
It's wild.
It's really a fascinating departure from how we usually go about this stuff.
Yeah.
Instead of relying on just massive data sets to kind of guide the AI as it develops, the researchers decided to focus on actually incentivizing the model to develop its own reasoning abilities.
So instead of force-feeding it information, they set up a system where it's rewarded for figuring things out on its own. Like,
training a dog.
Yeah, like giving a dog a treat when it learns a new trick.
Yeah, and it gets even more interesting because they didn't just reward DeepSeek R1-0 for getting the right answer.
Okay.
They also rewarded it for showing its work.
Oh.
For like laying out its thought process in a way that humans could understand.
That's so clever.
Yeah.
So it's not just about getting the solution, it's about explaining how you got there.
Exactly, being able to explain the logic.
Yeah.
And that makes you wonder if this is how AI might start to bridge the gap between how it thinks and how we think.
Yeah, totally makes you wonder, is this how AI starts to think more like us?
It really hints at that possibility. There's this striking example in the paper, sort of an aha moment, you could say, where DeepSeek R1-0 is working on this complex math problem. And at first, it starts down the wrong path, but then it seems to realize that it needs to change its approach.
Wow.
Take a step back and kind of reassess.
It's like it had an epiphany.
Almost like a flash of insight.
That's incredible. It's like the AI had a realization, like, wait a minute, I need to think about this differently.
Exactly. And that
it makes you wonder what else it's capable of.
Absolutely. It suggests a level of adaptability and problem solving that we just haven't really seen before.
Yeah.
And, this behavior was actually a key reason why the researchers decided to build on DeepSeek R1-0 and create DeepSeek R1.
So they took this self-taught AI with its incredible reasoning abilities and they decided to refine it even further.
Yeah, kind of polish it up.
What were they hoping to achieve with DeepSeek R1?
Well, the main goal was to make it more user-friendly, but also preserve those incredible reasoning abilities. Kind of like taking a diamond in the rough
Okay, got it.
and cutting it to really make it shine.
Okay.
And they used this multi-stage training process, starting with a smaller data set to kind of give it a foundation, then implementing reinforcement learning, but with a laser focus on reasoning skills.
So they were really intentional about nurturing that ability to reason.
Very much so.
What were the next steps in the process?
Well, they used this technique called rejection sampling to basically curate the AI's output. Kind of filtering for the highest quality responses.
So making sure it's consistent and accurate.
Right. And then finally, they did another round of reinforcement learning. But this time, they broadened the scope a bit to include a wider range of scenarios and tasks.
So it sounds like they were trying to make DeepSeek R1 like multi-talented.
A real multi-talented AI.
But it pay off?
Well, the results are really impressive. It achieved top scores on all sorts of benchmarks, showing its strength in areas like coding, factual question answering, even writing.
So we've established that DeepSeek R1 is like a high achiever.
A real high achiever.
But how does it stack up against, the big names in AI?
Yeah, the competition's pretty stiff out there.
There's some serious competition.
Yeah, well, DeepSeek R1 actually outperforms some of the most well-known models.
Really?
On certain tasks. For example, it scored higher on a challenging math test than a model from OpenAI.
Wow.
So it can definitely hold its own.
Yeah, that's really impressive.
Yeah. And you'll never guess what they discovered when they tried distilling its knowledge.
Hold on, before we get ahead of ourselves.
Okay, sure.
Let's make sure everyone's on the same page. Distillation.
Right.
What does that even mean in the AI world?
It sounds a little like chemistry class.
Yeah, it does.
So imagine taking a really complex recipe from a master chef and simplifying it so anyone can follow it. That's essentially what distillation does with AI.
Got it.
It takes a larger, more intricate model like DeepSeek R1 and uses it to train a smaller, more efficient model.
So like all about accessibility?
Like mini-me versions of DeepSeek R1.
Right.
So people who might not have the resources for the full-scale model can still use it.
Exactly. And that's a game changer.
That's huge.
And here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Some of these smaller distilled versions actually outperformed the larger models on some tasks.
Really?
Yeah. It's like finding out that a student surpassed their teacher.
That's wild.
It really is. And this has huge implications for making AI more accessible and adaptable.
This is all so exciting.
It is.
We've gone from a self-learning AI that teaches itself to reason to smaller, more accessible models that still pack a punch.
That's right.
What's next for DeepSeek R1?
Well, the future looks bright.
The researchers are tackling some of the remaining challenges, like refining its performance on more complex software engineering tasks.
So you're saying an AI that could not only code, but design and debug software.
Imagine that.
That would be a game changer.
It would.
But even at its current stage, DeepSeek R1 represents a huge leap forward.
It really does.
It's not just about solving problems. It's about how AI learns to think.
Right.
Which is mind-blowing.
It is.
Stay tuned for part 2.
Yeah, we'll be back.
Where we'll delve even deeper into the inner workings of this incredible AI.
We'll explore how DeepSeek R1 reasons.
It's going to be great.
And what that could mean for the future.
See you soon.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everyone. You know, we left off last time with this idea that DeepSeek R1 can not only solve problems, but show its work.
Right.
And now I want to know, how does it actually reason? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It really is.
But with DeepSeek R1, we're starting to get some answers. So think of it this way.
Okay.
DeepSeek R1 builds kind of a vast map of knowledge in its system.
Okay.
It's like this network of interconnected nodes. Each node is like a concept or a piece of information.
Got it.
And the connections between them represent relationships.
So like a giant web of ideas.
Yeah.
Constantly growing and evolving.
Right.
I can see why that would be necessary for reasoning.
Exactly. And here's the thing.
Okay.
When you give DeepSeek R1 a problem, it doesn't just like randomly search this network.
Okay.
It activates relevant sections.
So it's more targeted?
Much more targeted.
Okay.
It's like a detective following a trail of clues.
Oh, like that makes sense.
And here's the cool part.
Yeah.
As it explores these connections, it's actually generating a step-by-step thought process.
Whoa.
A chain of reasoning that we can observe.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and that's what's so remarkable about DeepSeek R1.
Okay, it's not just a black box. You can actually see how it's thinking.
Transparency is key.
Yeah.
If we want to trust AI.
Especially as these systems become more integrated into our lives.
Right. You have to be able to understand the process.
Absolutely.
Now, remember how we talked about DeepSeek R1 being trained through reinforcement learning?
Right. Rewarding it for both accuracy and clear reasoning.
Exactly. And that training method is really key to how it learns to navigate that knowledge network.
So through trial and error, it figures out what works.
It learns which pathways lead to the right solutions.
And which ones to avoid.
Exactly. And it's almost like it's developing its own internal logic.
It's really learning how to think.
Yeah, it's connecting the dots.
Yeah.
Drawing conclusions based on the information it has.
And that brings us to another really important element.
Okay.
In DeepSeek R1's ability to reason. And that's the role of language.
Language is crucial.
Because?
Well, think about how we reason as humans.
Okay.
We use language.
Right, to communicate.
To communicate.
Yeah.
But also to form thoughts, construct arguments, communicate ideas.
So language isn't just about talking to each other.
Right. It's fundamental to how we think.
And you're saying DeepSeek R1 is tapping into that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
DeepSeek R1 uses language to process information, to build its knowledge network, and to generate those chains of thought.
So it's learning to think in a way that mirrors our own thought processes.
Exactly. It's pretty amazing.
It's really fascinating.
And this insight has huge implications.
For the future of AI.
For the future of AI. If we can train AI to think in language, who knows what we might be able to do?
It's mind-boggling.
It really is.
But before we get too carried away,
I
want to come back to something you mentioned earlier. Transparency.
Right.
Why is that so important?
Especially when we're talking about AI that can reason like this.
Yeah.
Because as AI systems get more sophisticated and more integrated into our lives, we need to be able to understand their decision-making.
Yeah, like if an AI is making decisions about healthcare.
Exactly, or financial investments.
I would definitely want to know how it reached its conclusion.
Right. It's not about blindly trusting the machine.
Yeah.
It's about having insight into its process.
So we can make sure it's being responsible.
And ethical.
Exactly. And DeepSeek R1's ability to generate that chain of thought gives us that window into its reasoning.
It does. We can trace its steps.
We can see how it weighed different factors.
Identify potential biases.
Flaws in its logic.
It's like peeking behind the curtain.
Yeah, exactly.
And that understanding is crucial.
For building trust.
For building trust and ensuring that AI is used ethically.
This has been a really insightful discussion.
It has.
We've gone from understanding how DeepSeek R1 builds its knowledge network to how it uses language to reason.
Right.
And the importance of transparency.
It's all connected.
But I have a feeling there's even more to explore.
Oh, there's definitely more.
In our next segment, we're going to delve into some of the wider implications of reasoning AI.
We'll talk about what it means for the future.
The future of work.
Education.
Our understanding of intelligence itself.
Stay with us.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. It's amazing to think that we started by talking about an AI that can teach itself to reason, and now we're talking about like the impact on society as a whole.
Yeah, it really shows you how fast this field is moving.
It does.
DeepSeek R1 is just one example of the amazing stuff happening right now.
Right.
And we really need to consider the big picture.
Okay, so let's talk big picture.
Okay.
What are some of the potential benefits of having AI that can reason like humans?
Well, the possibilities are huge.
Yeah.
Imagine AI working with scientists
Okay.
to speed up research.
In like what kind of fields?
Like medicine or climate change or even space exploration.
So you could see breakthroughs happening faster than ever?
Exactly. We could solve some of the world's biggest problems.
That's an exciting thought, and it's not just the big science stuff, right?
Right. What about education?
Oh, yeah. Reasoning AI could revolutionize education.
How so?
Imagine personalized learning.
Okay.
Tailored to each student.
So like an AI tutor
Exactly.
that understands your strengths and weaknesses.
It could adapt its teaching style to help you learn more effectively.
That would be amazing.
And it could make quality education accessible to everyone.
It's like a personal guide through all of knowledge.
And don't forget about our daily routines.
Oh, right. Like how could reasoning AI impact those?
It could help us make better decisions.
Okay.
In all sorts of situations.
Like what?
Managing finances,
Okay.
planning a trip, even just navigating traffic.
So AI could become like a really intelligent assistant.
Exactly. It could understand our goals and help us achieve them.
Free up our time and energy.
Exactly.
So we can focus on the things that really matter.
It's a pretty optimistic picture.
It is. But we have to talk about the potential downsides too, right?
Of course, every powerful technology has potential downsides. What are some of the concerns with reasoning AI?
Well, one of the biggest ones is the impact on jobs.
Oh, right. Because if AI can do more...
Yeah, it could automate tasks that are currently done by humans.
Leading to job displacement?
Right.
That's a valid concern.
It is, and we need to prepare for that.
So how do we do that?
Well, we need to equip people with the right skills.
So they can thrive in a future with AI.
Exactly. And it's not just about technical skills.
What else?
It's about things like adaptability,
Okay.
critical thinking, creativity.
The things that make us human.
Exactly.
So it's not just teaching people what to think,
Right.
but how to think.
It's about how to approach problems in new ways.
Ways that work with AI.
And we also need to make sure that reasoning AI is used ethically.
That's a big one.
We need safeguards to prevent misuse.
To make sure it's used for good and not for harm.
Exactly. And we need to be mindful of biases.
Oh, right. Making sure that the AI is fair.
Transparent.
Accountable.
It's a responsibility we all share.
As we enter this new era of intelligent machines,
we can't just sit back and watch.
We have to shape the future of AI.
And guide its development.
To benefit all of humanity.
Exactly.
So what's next? Where do we go from here?
Well, the research is always evolving.
Uh-huh.
We need to keep pushing the boundaries.
Okay.
While keeping in mind the ethical considerations.
Right.
And the potential impact on society.
We need to have open and honest conversations about AI.
Yeah, bringing together experts from different fields.
To make sure we have a responsible and beneficial future.
It's an exciting time to be alive,
It really is.
to witness this new era of intelligence.
And the choices we make now will determine how it all unfolds.
So let's choose wisely
Let's use reasoning AI to empower humanity.
and solve our biggest challenges.
That's a future worth fighting for.
It is.
Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the world of reasoning AI.
And DeepSeek R1.
I hope you all learned something new today.
It's just the beginning.
Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep engaging with this amazing technology.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening.